Imagine you're a farmer living in ancient Mesopotamia about 4,000 years ago. Life is simple. Every day, you wake up before the sun. You walk into your barley field. You carefully plant tiny seeds into the ground. You spend hours pulling weeds. Then you carry heavy buckets of water across the field. It's hard work, but you don't mind because you're dreaming about one thing: harvest day. Months pass. Your tiny seeds grow into beautiful golden barley. You look across your field and smile. This is going to be the best year ever. Then, everything changes. Dark clouds suddenly cover the sky. A giant storm appears. The clouds look angry. You stare up in shock. Then, the rain begins. Not normal rain. A huge storm. The nearby river starts overflowing. The water rushes straight toward your farm. Before you can do anything, a giant flood washes away every single stalk of barley. You run after it, but it's already gone. You fall onto your knees. You can't believe what just happened. An entire year's work gone. Only one tiny grain is left in your hand. Now you're not just hungry, you're terrified, because you suddenly remember something. A few months ago, a wealthy merchant helped you. He gave you bags of barley to plant your field. You happily accepted, but there was one condition. After the harvest, you had to pay him back. The agreement wasn't just spoken. It was written onto a clay tablet. That little tablet was your promise. Now the merchant walks toward you. He's still holding it. He points at the tablet. Then he points at you. You still owe me. And just like that, your worst problem isn't the flood anymore. It's the debt. But the story doesn't end there. The merchant crosses his arms. He isn't angry. He's simply waiting for his grain. Then he reminds you of something else. Every month you don't pay, the debt gets bigger, much bigger. Back then, people charged something called interest. Imagine borrowing 100 bags of grain. Later, you don't just owe 100 anymore. Now you owe 133. And if you still can't pay, it keeps growing. Again and again. The merchant keeps adding more grain to the pile. But you never borrowed any extra. Seems unfair, doesn't it? The pile gets taller. The numbers keep climbing. You start wondering, how am I ever going to pay this back? Soon, the merchant starts looking at your house, then your animals, then your land. One by one, everything you own could disappear. And in the worst cases, even your children could be taken away to work until the debt was finally paid. Your whole family is terrified. Your heart feels like it's sinking. But wait, something about this story doesn't make sense. Think about it. This happened over 4,000 years ago. There were no banks, no ATMs, no paper money, no coins, not even credit cards. So how could people be in debt if money didn't even exist? That's the biggest plot twist of all. Most people think humans invented money first, and debt came later. But history says the exact opposite. Debt came first. Money came long before cities existed. People lived in tiny villages. Life was much simpler. If your neighbor was hungry, you shared your food. Maybe you gave them a fish. The next time, they shared their berries with you. If someone's roof broke, everyone helped fix it. People weren't keeping score. They simply trusted each other. Trust held everything together. And honestly, that worked pretty well. But then,
something changed forever. Humans learned how to farm. Instead of growing just enough food, they started growing extra. Lots of extra. Small villages became bigger. More families arrived. Soon, tiny villages became busy cities. Thousands of people lived together. Now, imagine trying to remember. Who borrowed grain? Who borrowed animals? Who promised to pay later? It would be impossible. People started forgetting. Arguments became more common. Everyone kept asking, wait, who owes who? So someone came up with a brilliant idea. Instead of remembering promises, why not write them down? A scribe grabbed a lump of wet clay. Then, using a pointed stick, he pressed tiny wedge-shaped marks into it. Those funny little marks were called cuneiform. After that, he left the clay out in the sun. When it dried, the promise couldn't be erased. If a farmer borrowed grain, the scribe wrote it down. If a merchant gave someone a loan, the clay tablet recorded it. Simple, easy, and impossible to forget. That little piece of clay became something incredible. It was the world's first IOU. It simply said, I promise I'll pay you back. People trusted it. Soon, farmers, merchants, and scribes all started using clay tablets. Without realizing it, they had invented the first real financial record. And that tiny piece of baked clay was about to change the world forever.
Now, imagine this. You borrow 10 bags of grain from me. But before you pay me back, I need a brand new sword. So instead of waiting for you, I hand your clay tablet to the village blacksmith. The blacksmith reads it. He sees your promise. He trusts you'll pay later. So he gives me the sword. Now, you don't owe me anymore. You owe the blacksmith. Nothing else changed. The grain never moved. Only the promise did. That little clay tablet had become something valuable all by itself. Soon, everyone started doing the same thing. A potter traded his pots for a clay tablet. A shepherd traded his sheep for one. A carpenter traded his wooden cart. A fisherman traded his catch. The marketplace became busier than ever. People weren't just trading goods anymore. They were trading promises. Trade became faster. Cities became richer. People who had never even met before could suddenly do business together. For a while, everything worked beautifully. But then, the same old problem came back. Interest. The merchant wanted a little extra, then a little more, then even more. 1 bag became 2. 2 became 4. 4 became 8. The debt kept growing, faster than the crops could ever grow. Imagine trying to stop a giant snowball rolling downhill. Every second, it gets bigger, heavier, faster. That's exactly what debt became. The farmer tried to run, but he couldn't escape it. Soon, the debt was bigger than his farm, bigger than his harvest, bigger than his entire life. And that's the strange story of how humans invented debt. Long before coins, long before paper money, long before banks, people were already trading promises. That tiny clay tablet changed history forever. And even today, your bank account, your home loan, your credit card, they're all built on exactly the same idea. The technology changed. The promise didn't. Money isn't magic. It's simply a promise that people agree to believe. And it all started with a small piece of clay.